Hello crochet friends, welcome to Crazy Cool Crochet. In this tutorial we are going to be working on this pocket shawl. First, what I want to do is thank the original creator of the original perfect pocket shawl, Sonia Hood. This is probably the easiest pocket shawl you're going to find out there. It's also super simple to size it if you want to make it bigger, longer, wider. The written pattern you will always find out at crazycoolcrochet.com. The links to that will be in the description area in the white space below. You do have to open that up. You have to click where it says show more or click a little arrow. You'll have to look around, find that, click it, open it, boom. All kinds of more information is in that description area. You subscribe and comment. All these things are super important to me. Thank you. We will be using Red Heart Super Saver in Ombre. So aside from the yarn, and this is a number 4, you are more than welcome to use any number 4 yarn. Now we are also using scissors, a yarn needle or a tapestry needle, and the hook is an H or a 5mm. Now this project uses a multiple of 9 plus 2. Okay, now I have used a multiple of 9 for 54 chains. I've already got that started. And now we're going to do the plus 2. Okay, so for those of you who are not quite sure what the multiple means, that just means you're going to do 9 stitches plus 9 plus 9 plus 9 until you get to the width that you want. And then we're going to do 2 more stitches after you get the size that you want. 1, 2. So we want the finished garment to be, and we are working widthwise and then growing it long ways. Okay, so this will work up really fast this way. It'll feel a lot faster. Now we want the finished garment to be about 15 inches wide. That's what will go up and down on your back. And as I explained earlier, that's because we are doing a transition piece. Okay, we don't want something really huge. So we're going to do a double crochet into the 3rd chain from the hook. So we're going to skip 2 chains, those 2 extras. We're going to skip over them and then do a double crochet into the next chain. If you need help with the beginning stitches, I'm going to assume that although you're a beginner, if you are, you do know how to do your basic stitches. If you still need help with that, I will go ahead and leave a little white box up above, and that will take you to the beginner tutorials. Okay, now we're going to skip the next chain and do a double crochet in the next, and a double crochet in the next chain. Now skip the next chain and do a double crochet in each of the next 2 chains, and that's your pattern. Okay, so all the way across the chain you're going to skip a chain and then do 2 double crochets. Skip a chain, do 2 double crochets across the next 2 chains, skip a chain, double crochet in the next, and double crochet in the next. So do that all the way across. When we get to the last 2 chains, you're going to skip the next chain and enter a double crochet into the last chain. So we'll end that row with 1 double crochet at the end, and then chain 3, and then turn. Now we're going to enter 1 double crochet into that very first space. Now we'll be working into the spaces between the 2 double crochets. We will enter 2 double crochets into each big space. So skip those 2 double crochets below and enter 2 double crochets into the space. That's your pattern for the row. Keep going all the way across. Now at the end of the row, there's your 2 double crochets and a space. So go ahead and do 2 double crochets into that larger space. And now you've got the space over here, a smaller space before that turning chain. Go ahead and enter 1 double crochet into the space. And now we're going to enter 1 more double crochet into the turning chain. Chain 3. Turn. We're going to count these 2 as 2 double crochets, and there's your space. And there's the spaces in between the 2 double crochets. So you will start your 2 double crochets into this space. And then continue with 2 double crochets in each space. And we entered the last 2 double crochets into that last big space. Now you've got the space before the turning chain. Enter 1 double crochet into the space, and then 1 double crochet into the turning chain, just like we did before. And then chain 3. Now we will be repeating that row for the entirety of the project. So there's your first 2 double crochets, there's your first space. That's where you start, into the space. 2 double crochets, and then 2 double crochets in the next space, and continue with the 2 double crochets into each space. That's it. That's your pattern. Okay, so now the completed panel measures approximately 58 inches and 105 rows. So you can see how beautifully the ombre colors work. And of course you can adjust this for length any way you want. There's nothing about this that needs to be exact. Whatever we do here does not affect anything else. On some patterns, you do have to follow the counts exactly, or the remainder of the pattern will not work. That's not the case here. That's why this is so perfect for beginners. So if you want this longer, then feel free to just keep right on going with building more rows for length, and just make sure that you end on the right side. Let me show you what I mean. So there's my last row. And I know I'm on the right side because there is the foundation chain row, and there's the tail from that very first row. So generally, this will be the right side of your project with the tail to the left. So that's where you want to end your panel, on the right side up. Now, as long as we're talking about adjusting for length, I mentioned this at the beginning, but you can adjust for width also. And just make sure that you stay with your multiple of 9. Now we're going to go ahead and start a border. We're going to do 3 rows of single crochet all the way around. So there's the last row. And I'm going to just continue down the edge with the single crochet border. So do not cut off the yarn. After you enter your last double crochet into the turning chain, chain 1, and then turn the panel so that the long side is facing you. All right, now you're going to enter 1 single crochet into that first space, 2 loops on the hook, pull the yarn through both loops, that's a single crochet. Now in the next space, you also want to enter 1 single crochet. Now we'll start our pattern in the next space with 2 single crochets into that space, and then 1 single crochet in the next space, 2 single crochets in the next space. And we're just alternating 2 single crochets, 1 single crochet, 2 single crochets in the space, 1 single crochet in the space, all the way down and all the way around. But when we get to the end, I'll show you how we go around the corner. Okay, now we're at the end of that first long row with the single crochets, and in the last space, in order to make the corner, we want to enter 3 single crochets. Just push this out of the way to the back, the tail. We'll weave that in at the very end to hide it. So that was 2, here comes 3. And then continue down the bottom row, or actually that was the first foundation chain row. And now these stitches look entirely different from what we've been doing. So all we're going to do is enter 1 single crochet into each space. And you are going into the space. So just continue that down the row. When you get to the next corner, you will once again enter 3 single crochets, and that creates a nice rounded corner. And then continue down the row, the next long row, and then you can continue with the 1 single crochet, 2 single crochets, 1 single crochets, 2 single crochets, just like you did on the other side. I also wanted to mention, if you are working along and you realize, oh no, I only entered 1 here, 2 here, don't worry about it. You don't have to undo the whole thing and fix it. Again, that's what's so great about this design, this pattern. It's very forgiving. So just go ahead and start up with your pattern again. 1, 2, 1, 2 on the long, long row edge. Okay, now when you finish the last row and you're back to where we started, and on that one you did enter the 1 single crochet in each space. Also, another tip, you do want to work, especially on the long edges, fairly loosely so that you're not buckling the panel. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and enter a single crochet into that last space. And now we're going to chain 1 and turn. Now don't worry about that little opening there. We will close that up when we come back around. Okay, so now this is really easy. All you need to do is enter 1 single crochet in each space. And again, work fairly loosely. If you tighten it up too much, then it starts to buckle. And that's it. Enter the 1 single crochet in each single crochet across in each space. Now when you get to the corner, you do not need to enter any extra stitches. You've already established the corner. So just enter 1 single crochet in each space. All right, now we're back around to the beginning of the second row. Now we're going to close up that gap with a slip stitch. Okay, so you entered your last single crochet, and now just enter the hook into stitch over here, and we're going to do a slip stitch. Just grab the yarn, bring it through the loop on the hook, and there you go. Now chain 1, turn, and now we're going to do 1 last row of single crochet all the way around. Now that we are back to the very end here, I want to show you how we cut off the yarn. We'll enter our last single crochet, and now slip stitch in the first single crochet, now do 2 chains and cut the yarn. Leave that tail 5-6 inches long so we can weave it in at the end. Now pull the yarn through and then squeeze it down, and that creates a knot. Okay, that's it for this. The border is done. One last tip: if as you were working along, there's the other tail, I need to weave that in. As you're working along and the corner just is wonky, you need to be sure that you are leaving your tension nice and loose. If, however, it's still not right, feel free to add 4 single crochets in each corner instead of 3. That's a-okay. Okay, now let's make the pockets, and we need 2. And this is using the exact same pattern as we did for the body. So all we need to do is start with a chain of 29. So that's using the multiple of 9 times 3 is 27 plus 2 is 29. So then you will just follow the instructions exactly as you did when you started the panel. So just go back to the beginning of the tutorial and go from there. Then you're going to make 11 rows total and end on the right side. When you're done with the last row, do not cut off the yarn. So just as we did before, we're going to come around with single crochets. But we're only going to do 1 row. So come around, do your single crochets exactly as you did before. So you'll enter 3 in the corner, you'll do the 2 in one space, 1 in one space, 2, 1, and then along the bottom and the top, that's where you go into every space, 1 single crochet. So again, exactly as before. And then when you come back around, do your slip stitch to join the corner, and then we'll be ready to attach this to the pocket shawl. However, first, let's get rid of the stragglers here. Okay, so you would have left a tail so that you can weave this in. So now one way to do that is to use your yarn needle and turn this around a little bit. And actually, I'm on the right side. We want to be on the wrong side. And turn that around. Okay. Oops. Okay, so go ahead and just weave in and out. Bring it through. and then come back the other way. It does not have to be, and it should not be under the same stitches. You can grab different stitches going the other direction, and then go back one more time. There's no real rhyme or reason to it, just go up and down at least 3 times, and then you can cut that off. Now, if you want to be even more secure, what I sometimes do, depending on what the project is, I'll grab the yarn and do 2 or 3 chains, and then squeeze it down, and now you've got yourself a real tight knot. Plus all the in and out, this is going nowhere, even after you wash it. Okay, so that's how you're going to weave in whatever straggling little tails you've got hanging around. So now let's go ahead and attach the pocket to the shawl. Okay, now what we are going to do, I still need to weave that in, is center the pocket. Actually, the first thing I want to show you, just to add a little interest here. This is the way you created the pocket, but just to change things up a little bit, I'm turning it this way so that the stitches are going in a different direction from the body, just for fun. You don't have to do that if you don't want to. If you like it this way, go for it. Okay, now situated so that it is on about the top of the second row of the double crochets along the bottom or the edge, and then center it from the sides. So now all we're going to do is seam from here and then around the bottom and around the other side. So use your yarn needle, length of yarn. Okay, now I'm going to turn this just because it'll be easier to work it. So start seaming from underneath. Just going to show you where we are regarding the placement. So start in the corner, go under 2 strands on the pocket, bring it through, leave a tail on the underneath. So you can weave that in. And then go over. So we're using a whip stitch. Grab the strand from the shawl, grab 2 strands from the pocket. Just be careful that you're not grabbing the shawl too far this way. And that's it. So just go all the way around. Just the 3 sides, of course. You need to leave that open. So that's it. Just do that. Tie it off when you come around to the 3rd side. Leave a tail, shove it through so that you can go underneath and weave in those tails. So that'll do it. I hope you like this project. If so, please remember, subscribe, give me a thumbs up down in the white space, leave a comment, watch the videos all the way through, head over to the home page, go up where it says videos, click that. It opens up the entire library of my videos. Thank you so much for watching.